Okay. Now we're going to come to the public comment session, I should say. I noticed a large crowd here this evening, so we're going to modify the process a little bit. So I'll go over the ground rules. We're going to have 1 hour for everyone to speak to whatever issue they'll desire. It is not a back and forth, so the board nor the superintendent is required to engage in a conversation with you. So your comments will be heard. At the end of the hour, the superintendent will respond to your concerns, and then we'll move on the agenda and continue to do our business.
The fact of the matter is, you can condemn Hamas unequivocally, and you can condemn those actions unequivocally without taking a side in the conflict or even touching the overall conflict. Unless, of course, you're trying to appease people who actually think that the raping and murdering and pillaging of the community is appropriate. We have an audience
with children and students, and I just ask that speakers be respectful of that audience. We're aware of the news.
Okay. Well, if you're aware of the news, then that's something that should have been unequivocally condemned. If it's something that even the children in this community can't hear about, then that also means that it's something that the superintendent should have no issue whatsoever condemning, or he just shouldn't have issued a statement.
These people that are talking about raping and this piling bodies on top of each other, that happened in the Holocaust. And if they're having PTSD for what they're doing to the Muslim community in Palestine, that's something they need to seek mental health counseling for. And those gentlemen that were speaking were probably IDF, and they have some kind of mental issue happening. I've seen videos as well of Jewish people, Israelis, coming together with the Palestinians, because death doesn't know we should sympathize, compassion. Any person of the book has compassion. We need to come together. In the Constitution of this country, it says, united under one flag, together. I'm sorry. I get very passionate about this when it's all one-sided. If it was any other nationality, if it was Hispanics or anything else, that it would be a neutral statement put out. We, as the Muslims that are dying, not getting acknowledged, should be the ones to be sad. United we stand, justice for all. Dr. Spencer, I applaud you. Teaneck, do better. Do better for our communities. Thank you, and I hope, well, that's it. Why?
So I want to ask everyone, how would you feel if Indigenous people in our country came into your homes at 6 a.m., at 7 a.m. and pulled your kids out of their beds and then shot you in front of them? How would you feel?
I'm going to remind you that there are students and children.
I'm sorry, but this is what happened. These are the facts. I'm sorry.
Yeah, facts don't need to be repeated. They're on the record. Thank you.
And all of these students have access to social media and the news, and they all know what's going on.
What about because America took a stance? 6-year-old Wadi Al-Fayumi was stabbed 26 times. Because Teaneck took a stance, we were told to go protesting and then go home because Teaneck is not our home. Has that not gone under consideration as well? Are we not worthy of feeling comfortable in where we live? Are we not worthy of condolences for the lives lost in Palestine? During the month of Ramadan, worshippers were terrorized and no condolences were sent for them. When journalist Shireen Abu Akleh was assassinated, no condolences were sent for her. When a 7-year-old was stabbed 26 times just this week, no condolences were sent for her. Teaneck High School, do better. Recognize that inclusivity is not just something you get to post around the school, but something you act upon. Dr. Spencer, I thank you for your neutrality.
Yeah.
Terrorism is not neutral. Beheading babies, tying them together, shooting them between their eyes, that's not neutral. Raping women, that's not neutral.
The next speaker who can't follow the ground rules here.
Yeah, we have to stay away from
All right. Okay. I'm sorry.
That being said, these exact actions are being carried out on Palestinians for the past 11 days. The past 11 days, forgetting the decades and decades of massacre after massacre, have been won by actual dictionary definition genocide. I will now read to you straight from the UN website war crimes that Israel has committed. 1. Unlawful confinement. 2. Intentionally directing attacks against civilian populations. 3. Intentionally directing attacks to buildings of religion or buildings of education, hospitals, and more. 4. Extensive destruction of property. 5. Attacking non-military areas which are undefended. 6. Employing poison or poison weapons. Despite these atrocities, we have not come out with pressure for the superintendent to change his statement. We stand by him in his decision to include the entire community. These atrocious and barbaric crimes have killed over 3,000 innocent civilians. These dehumanizing and genocidal actions have happened miles and miles away from us. But these actions and the propaganda surrounding them have spread all the way to us. Where kids are stabbed 26 times just for being Palestinian. Where women are run over just for wearing a hijab.
Adams last week, Mayor Eric Adams said to a crowd in New York City, "Your fight is our fight." He said, "We remember that you marched with us with Martin Luther King. We flooded the streets when George Floyd was murdered. Outside of this building, there is a street sign, Black Lives Matter Way. Black lives do matter. I work with an organization called Black Voters Matter. Do Jewish lives matter at Teaneck School District, in Teaneck Schools? Does Teaneck Schools believe that Jewish lives matter, like we think Black lives matter? There is no unfortunate situation in Israel. Missing the bus is an unfortunate situation. Hanging babies from a shower rod and shooting them between the eyes is not an unfortunate situation.
Ma'am, there's been multiple.
Oh, it's been on social media all over the place. They all know what's going on.
There's no need to reiterate those details.
No, there isn't.
All right, we're either gonna follow the rules or we're gonna end this right now. Either follow the rules or we end this right now.
Fine. Check the social media accounts of the students in this school district.
I'm going to move.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is a forum for decency. This is a forum for having an exchange of ideas. Whether we agree, go home this evening, disagreement or not, let's keep it safe. Let's keep it cordial and not attack each other. That's not what we're here for. We don't need this. We are the example for the students. Next virtual person.
And then some Jews, they're saying, oh, we're not feeling their hurt. But have you seen if the Palestinians, some of their families lost 15 to 17 members of their families. How would you feel in that situation? And whatever they're trying to do, you're dividing us. We have been to interfaith dinners together. We have been, being like friends together. And now you're just creating division. I'm not going to say and repeat like everyone else, the mother that witnessed their 6 years old being killed in front of her, the college students who was in critical condition in St. Joseph for that they believe they might be the Montclair State. They're investigating that. But the woman that had to die simply by walking on the sidewalk because she had a hijab and she's Muslim. So you're attacking us.
All right, please. Go ahead, please.
Anti-Semitism in this country was mentioned. It's barely been 10 days, and a Palestinian child was already murdered by a man claiming you should all die. Is that child not a student? And if there was a one-sided statement to be sent out, what ensures that I or any of my peers won't have the same end as that young Palestinian child? Thank you again. We thank you, Dr. Spencer, for the neutral message and support, the respect granted to both communities. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
And for those that are not educated enough to know that this didn't start on October 7th. This started way before October 7th. This started when the IDF went in and desecrated Ela Mosque. And I want to thank the council member that insisted on letting the children speak. Because had they not spoken, we would have just based our decision on the fear-mongering adults conversation, who, again, were probably part of the IDF. Thank you, and have a blessed day, and humanity.
For the past 75 years, Teaneck Township remained silent while Palestinians have been killed, kicked out of their homes, and taken away from their families. Since 1967, more than 56,502 Palestinian homes were demolished. Teaneck remained silent. Since September 2000, 2,646 Israelis and 12,579 Palestinians were killed. Teaneck Township remained silent. Since September 2000, 143 Israeli children and 2,434 Palestinian children were killed. Yes, you guessed it. Teaneck Township remained silent. Teaneck remained silent while children grew up in an open-air prison and were put in jail without any reason. I denounce and deplore Israelis' crushing response to Hamas. After the people of Gaza have been cut off from food, water, and electricity in violation of international law, Teaneck speaks now and is quick to introduce a resolution that further dehumanizes the Palestinians. If Teaneck and its leaders are going to condemn violence, then they should always condemn violence, no matter what side it's coming from.
Thank you.
Mr. President, if you don't want kids to hear graphic facts, I will repeat. I will offer you what has not been offered to the families of decapitated children, the chance to remove them from this room. You will not silence me. Yesterday, Teaneck condemned Hamas. When will you? Saying it's a cycle of violence is not okay. I posted your letter, Mr. Superintendent. We spoke together. I explained to you the reasons. You are a superintendent of our community schools, my kids' school. You have responsibilities. You are making many of us ashamed of our district and its leadership. Teaneck condemned Hamas. In 2020, silence was violence. How does a district with an Amistad curriculum and Holocaust studies program fail to do the same? Teaneck condemned Hamas. When my daughter started in Bryant School, it wasn't enough to be non-racist. You had to be anti-racist. Man, that changed when Jews were slaughtered. Teaneck condemned Hamas. You must make that right and do so immediately. This is the week to talk about the savagery, the inhumanity that was perpetrated by a terrorist group on innocent civilians who were butchered, who were raped, who were mutilated, who were beheaded, and worse.
The ground rules were made extremely clear to you, Mr.
You cannot cut me off.
But we can ask you to
Saying
you
a
can't
cycle of violence was wrong. And I am all for second chances. We spoke, Dr. Spencer. If you retracted that letter and issued a proper one, we would not be here today. Teaneck condemned Hamas. Leaders must correct mistakes. Imagine for a moment these heinous acts were committed by any group in any other place. Raping, butchering, beheading, setting aflame some 1,000 people.
Can we stop?
Several hours. Imagine any politician sitting here, any politician anywhere, responding to those acts, those outrageous crimes, calling them incidents in a cycle of violence. You were non-committal. It begs the question as to whether our schools operate in a value-free zone, a value-free zone where torture and rape are relative, not immediately.
You need to stop. You need to stop now. We need to stop now. Stop now. Shut up the volume. Shut up the volume, please. Thank you. Thank you. Sir, can you please put that sign down?
Please put your signs down.
All right. Can you please? This is not allowed. Please put the sign down, please. Put the sign down. You need to. Your time is up, please. Your time is up. Your time is up. You need to stop. Oh yes.
Don't satisfy him.
Oh.
Bye.
Keep your politics out of it.
Okay, Victoria. All right, it's 9:55. We're going to end this now a little bit earlier than 10 o'clock. We're going to move the agenda, and when we come back after the agenda, we open it up for half an hour. We don't need to cool down, people. We need to cool down. Yes, you can keep your space.
I read Dr. Spencer's statement. His statement was balanced, well thought out, and offered students the opportunity to seek resources should they need it. There's no need for Dr. Spencer to choose sides or to condemn Hamas. If you're going to condemn Hamas, you also have to condemn Israel. The Israeli defense minister referred to the Palestinians as human animals. What's happened to the Palestinian people is genocide. We need to call it what it is. To deny people food, water, electricity is to condemn them to death, to bomb their hospitals. We keep talking about October 7th as if this all of a sudden happened. The Palestinian people have been living under an apartheid state for 75 years.
Okay, this concludes the last portion of the public comment. We really want to thank everyone who came this evening to speak. I know it's a completely difficult situation we're going through right now. I have to say, as a Teaneck resident, I'm very concerned about our relationship with each other. I think what has occurred has hurt many people here in Teaneck. There are a lot of people who are hurt, who are angry, and we are all going to have to deal with this at some point. We're going to have to, all of us, look each other in the mirror, look at each other, and determine or decide how we're going to continue to live right next to each other. Because this is painful, people. I have been around here 16 years. I have seen all types of disagreements with the board. It could be busing, football, math program, tons of parents upset. But what we experienced here this evening and what I heard happen last night is different. We are talking about hatred. This is not something goes away overnight. We're really going to have to dig very deep within each other and decide and determine at what point do we start the healing process. This hurts. Dr. Spencer.
Thank you, President Rodriguez and trustees, and again to our scholar representatives who are here. I just continue to give you guys accolades for the great presentations that you presented and just the insight that you bring to the table and you bring to the conversation. Continue to do that. Continue to make your voice heard. So thank you for that. I do also want to acknowledge our science teacher from Thomas Jefferson Middle School and all of our teachers throughout our district. We know teaching is not easy. Teaching is extremely difficult. It's rocket science. It's harder in many cases than rocket science. So I say to all of our teachers that we know you put in quite a bit of time and the work that you do. We have had many discussions and conversations around making sure that our teachers have adequate time in order to plan lessons for our young people. And that's something that we're constantly grappling with. I cannot say that we have it all figured out because we don't. Nevertheless, I can say that we're continuously trying. And so for our teachers, we want you to know that, yes, we are asking you to continue to do a great job for the young people that we serve. We're going to continue to ask you to do a great job for the young people that we serve. And we want you to know that we are here to support you through the journey of making sure that our young people get the best education that we can possibly provide to them. So continue to work with us, continue to make sure that we are supporting you through all of your efforts, because we're going to continue to do that. I also want to connote or highlight, there was a question about the baseball fields. So the Hawthorne baseball field, we are actually in partnership with the town council. And so the baseball field will be regraded and resodded. And we're also working and putting in a fence for the baseball field as well as an irrigation system. I don't have specific dates for when that project is going to start, but it will be in time for our teams to play on that baseball field. This is something that our Board of Education holds dearly, and making sure that they're working with the town to make sure that our fields throughout our community is ready and prepared for our young people. I know there was a question that came up about Chromebooks for PSAT. And there was a challenge here at our high school with regard to our Chromebooks and PSAT today. So thank you, Ms. Blayberg, for bringing that to our attention. But as always, we're going to bring about a solution to make sure that our young people have exactly what they need to be successful. So PSAT gives a window, the College Board gives a window for us to deliver the assessments or administer the assessments. So our young people do have time for them to take the assessment. Our teams, our technology team, our assistant superintendent, our curriculum team was over at the high school today working with our high school administration to make sure that our young people have exactly what they need and that their Chromebooks are functional for the assessment. It's not that their Chromebooks do not work. There's a certain security system that is in place to make sure that we have a valid and reliable assessment. And contrary to perhaps what you may perceive, that is in place. And our technology has done a phenomenal job of making sure that that is in place for our young people. So they will be taking PSAT. There will be information with regards to PSAT that will be going out to our young people as to that makeup time. I know the Youth Advisory Board asked about suggestion boxes in our middle schools and high schools. I think that's a great idea. I would like to get a little more information as to these suggestion boxes so that we can make sure that our administrators and our staff in our middle and high schools are aware of what these suggestion boxes are so that we have that support available as well. And then I know there was a question, and I do not mean to call you out, Ms. Blakeberg, but the question was for you. The question came from you with regards to the Parent Advisory Council. So unfortunately for this year, we have run out of slots for the Parent Advisory Council. And I would like for you to go back and check your email to confirm the date that you signed up, because we had already confirmed our numbers for that particular group. But we do welcome you to keep that interest and maintain that interest and sign up to participate in the Parent Advisory Council for next year, because this is something that will be a continuation. So we do appreciate your interest, and we do want you to maintain that level of interest. I also want to read a quick statement here. And as a superintendent of our schools, it is imperative that my messages always align with humanity and humanistic behavior. I am 100% aware of the pain and the fear and the grief that is in our community and that is impacting our community today. And I understand what's happening in our community. But I want our community to recognize and know the purpose of my letter was to make sure that our children, our young people are okay. And our young people are assured that when they step foot in any school in this district, that our young people are going to be taken care of first and foremost. That is the reason why I am here. I am here to make sure that our young people get the best education that they can possibly receive in the safest environment that we can possibly provide to them. I 100% care about every single young person that attends our schools. I am in no way going to do anything that will jeopardize the life of any one of our young people. And that's what I want our community to know. That's what I want our community to understand. And that's why I'm emotional at this particular point. We care in Teaneck Public Schools. I care about what our young people are getting. And I want to say to all of our young people, my role, my goal is to always make sure that I'm serving you as best as I possibly can to make sure that you get a quality education. And I pray and I hope that I never, ever let you down from doing that. I am here to serve you. I am going to make sure that you get what you need. I am going to hold everyone accountable for making sure that we provide you with exactly what we promised you when we talk about Teaneck Advantage and educational excellence for all. That means all. Every single one of our young people. I thank you for providing me the opportunity to be your superintendent. Thank you.